What is up, Sneeples? Today we are going over the Mystic Illusionist class, all the cards that are coming from that part of the Mistveil set, which is just about to release. This is going to be featuring Enigma, and it's quite exciting. We're going to be seeing if these cards can be seen in a classic constructed format, Blitz, maybe UPF, as well as how good they are in Limited. Let's get into this. Here we are, Enigma Ledger of Ancestry. Let's just go over the hero ability. I'm sure you've seen it, but in case you haven't, the first Spectral Shield attack costs 1 less, as well as you can pitch the 3 chi to make a Spectral Shield with a 1 counter on it. But we also need to talk about the weapon. This weapon is just Illusionist. It's not Mystic Illusionist. Keep that in mind, because you can play this with other Illusionists in the game. But we're going to talk about it, because it's kind of what she's going to be basing herself around off, at least in Limited and most likely in Classic Constructed or Blitz. During your turn, auras with ward are weapons equal to their base with ward. Once per turn attack costs 1. Your attacks with a 1/1 counter, or a 1 counter, gets go again. So you're going to be utilizing all your ward auras to attack, hopefully have counters on them, give them go again, and maybe representing quite a bit of damage. But there's also another Enigma which was spoiled, and that's going to be in that Willy Wonka Gold pack, Enigma New Moon. This is a Blitz hero, it's a young hero. Equipment you own get cloaked. Pay 3 chi. Turn target face down equipment you have equipped face up. If it has ward, create 3 spectral shields. You cannot open this just generically throughout a draft or any of that. You're not going to be drafting this hero, but this will have some implications in Blitz, maybe UPF. We'll start with the Meridian Pathway. Pay 3 chi. You may play auras this turn as they were instants. Whenever you pitch a chi, you may have this get ward 3 until end of turn. Looking at the part where you can pay the chi to make that instance, it's going to help you get around that barrier of some of the clunkier spectral auras, where you want to play those and hopefully get initial value off of like Shimmers or Silver, even some of our bigger auras like the ward 10s. If we want to get those in and maybe we want to attack right away, we're going to need that chi to give it instant speed to maybe get some value off of it straight away instead of having our opponent pop it. So this is going to help utilize that game plan. We're going to have chi involved, so we're going to have to be running a decent amount of chi in our deck, or cards that transcend into chi. And then whenever you pitch a chi, you may get this ward 3. This is going to be the most utilized on our opponent's turn. So, in that being the case, we're going to be wanting to use our chi maybe during our opponent's turn at the late game if we are trying to get that ward 3 ability. This kind of is showing the game plan of maybe this Mystic Illusionist wants to be playing their Transcend cards on our opponent's turn to get the max amount of value, at least off of the Meridians, if we need that ward 3 to soak up a bit of damage. Very strong card. This is going to see play in CC, especially right off the rip with Enigma. Heirloom of Rabbit Hide. This is the cloaked chess piece. While it's equipped face down, at the start of your turn, you may, if you have exactly 1 life, you may turn it face up, and it has a ward 4. So it's going to be able to help you prevent 4 damage, which if you're at 1 life, that's huge. That's a whole card that you're not going to have to block out, even 2 cards to block out. It's going to be a tricky card. You're going to be dancing a fine line to get this off, especially in draft or even in constructed format. I can't imagine this will see much play in Classic Constructed, but there is possibility in Blitz this might have a little bit of love. Due to not just Classic Enigma, but we have Enigma New Moon, you're able to flip your cloaked equipment face up, and then you're just going to have a chess piece which says prevent 4 damage, and that's pretty good. Truth Retold, the headpiece of its cloaked. Turn this face up, put an aura from your graveyard on the bottom of your deck, ward 1. So no matter what, we pay the 1 resource, we get 1 point of value to, soak up a little bit of damage, and then we get an aura from our graveyard, bottom of our deck. If it's going late, if we're getting fatigued, if we need just something else to push it over, this will help that. This is a common piece of equipment. Most of these common pieces of equipment will just be draft playable. And then we have Uphold Tradition, cloaked, pay 1, turn it face up, put a 1 counter on, or you control with ward. Then it has ward 1 itself. I actually like this card a lot. I've tried this out in Enigma a few times, a lot of times actually, and this kind of helps you get around having that 1/1 counter issue, because if you're wanting to attack and get go again, paying that 1 to give it the 1/1 counter might mean your turn can go a lot wider, and you can be a little bit more aggressive on the turn where you have a good handful of auras stacked up. It also has ward 1, so it's going to help you protect kind of some of those tricky breakpoints. Now, Manifestations of Mirgai might be one of the strongest auras out there in this Mystic Illusionist suite. It is insane. It's blue, costs 3, instant speed, which is very important. This enters 2 counters. If a chi was pitched though, you get 4. And how this card works is it has ward X, where X is the number of counters on it. So basically it's going to be double the attack for whatever the counters are, which is sweet. you get the 2 counters, you're swinging in for 4. Pretty good. But if you get the chi on there, you pitch that 3, it's coming in for 8 when you're attacking. And that is super powerful. And if you have ways to give this some more counters, either the Uphold Tradition, if say you're playing CC, you have the Shimmers of Silver, this thing can get very aggressive very quickly while still soaking up some damage if you need it to. I very much like this card. This will definitely be seeing some play in Classic Constructed. Sacred Art, this is basically her specialization. We all know these cost 3, they're instants, no blocks, legendary, all the stuff. If you played another blue card this turn, you get choose 3, otherwise you choose 1. Create 2 Spectral Shields, put a warn counter on each aura with ward you control, as well as Transcend. So that means it's going to be able to flip over, get your chi. You're going to be able to utilize that resource as long as you got all 3 modes off and you played a blue card prior, which in Enigma decks, at least in Classic Constructed, they're going to be playing a lot of blues, so it shouldn't be too hard to flip this over. You'll want to be playing this card when you can flip it over, because whenever you're able to put the one counter on each aura with ward you control, that's basically all your auras. It's going to basically give them all go again as long as you have the resources to keep attacking, which in most cases you will because you're a blue deck. So this is going to help you go really wide and really start stripping your opponent's cards, especially if it's later game. You can start representing quite a bit of damage. 3 visits. I'm pretty iffy about this card so far. I've played it a handful of times. When it works great, it works great. You're able to pitch a blue to play this. Then maybe you have another blue and another aura you can play, or some activation you want to do with chi. Soak up 6 points of damage. Feels great. Sometimes it's just 3, and that's alright. But then there's sometimes you might get some clunky hands. Maybe you don't have any blues out. It's just gonna go away. Not as awesome. As well as on your turn, if you're wanting to attack with it, you're gonna have to make sure you pitched at least 1 or 2 blues to get any incremental value from it. It's a sweet card. I'm yet undecided, so if you guys have any thoughts about it, definitely let us know down below. Moon Chakra, this comes in the cycle, red, yellow, blue. 0 cost. The next time you be dealt damage this turn, prevent 3 of that. If you transcend to this turn, prevent 5. So no matter what, you're going to be saving some life off of this. And then if you transcend it, you're going to prevent a lot of damage. I think transcending won't happen every single turn. So when you're using this, you're probably going to need to make sure that it's in the arsenal, or you have some form of synergy where you know you're going to be able to transcend and then get the extra value off of it. When that works great. I definitely like these cards for sure, especially in like limited, because then you're able to stop a little bit of extra damage if they're reacting to you. This is like your reaction. Not bad at all. And then the yellow does 2, and then 4, and then the blue does 1, then 3. Haze Shelter, ward X, where X is 4. If you pitched a blue card this turn, otherwise it's 1. I mean, when you play it, you pitch a blue, it's going to be 4. If you play it on your turn, it is an instant aura, which is always good to note. Play it on your turn, pitch the blue, you'll have 1 resource remaining, you can attack for 4. On their turn, you'll have a full grip of hand. You're most likely able to pitch a blue to do something else, play another aura, activate an ability, and then this will go back up to ward 4, because it just checks whenever there's a blue card pitched this turn. So the probability that you're going to get the 4 value off of this on their turn and your turn is pretty good. I like this one so far. I don't think I've decided completely if I like it in CC as much. I've tried it. I can see this in limited being pretty sweet. Then we have the yellow, which is 3, blue is 2. Waning Vengeance, it's cost 1, ward 3. If you pitch blue card and this leaves, you get a Spectral Shield. So if all the stars align, you get your shield and then the ward 3 for only 1 resource. Pretty good, especially because the Spectral Shield, if this pops on their turn and you pitch the blue, you can come and attack with it on your turn just with the free attack. Say they took all your cards from hand, it's still representing 1 point of damage, and if it's late game, that 1 point might be very important. Then the blue, then the yellow, and then the blue. One thing that I have tried and I've liked a few times, I don't think this will end up in my list for CC, but when I was playing these cards with Waxing Spectre and Waning Vengeance, you would have a lot of times you'd pitch a blue, get your red Waning Vengeance out, and then play the Waxing Spectre with the remaining 2 resources. So you get both of these out with 1 card, and that felt very strong. And then say Waning Vengeance would leave, you get your Spectral Shield, maybe Waxing Spectre stays around, then you have your Spectral Shield, and then a 3 ward with a counter on it going into your next turn, presenting a good amount of damage, and then you still have the ward that is tacked onto them. I do like Waxing Spectre the most out of both of these, but I think both have versatility. but having the 1/1 counter, being able to give your card go again is very important in the deck to keep damage presented, because you can block out a lot. You can stop a lot of damage, but at the end of the day, you have to represent damage if you want to kill someone. That is the Mystic Illusionists. We'll be going over the Illusionist one soon. We're going to be going over the Ninja as well as the Assassin before we hit that part. But these are my thoughts on them. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's any cards that such some sweet combos that I've missed. But we'll be getting into all the other sweet Illusionist cards here coming soon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you when we come to Illusionist.